Hey, welcome to our banquet, our virtual banquet. I'm joined here with Devin and Michael. I'm Roger, director of Kinwell Academy. Typically, when you go live with an event, it's kosher to kind of wait for people to show up because people are late often. And so as opposed to having you guys just stare at a logo or have awkward conversations, my friend Mike here,
Yes.
our senior, is going to teach us some Spanish.
Ah, of course, yes.
Spanish. Mike loves his Hispanic culture.
Yes, I do. I love it a lot.
So let's learn some words, shall
Okay,
we?
yeah, of course.
Okay.
What do you want to learn?
I mean, we run a school.
Yes.
We're here to get diplomas. How about school is fun?
Okay. So how you would say school is fun is la escuela. La escuela.
You go first. La escuela.
La escuela.
There's an A in the middle. La escuela.
Escuela, sí. La escuela.
La escuela.
Es
Es. Whoa,
divertida.
that's too much.
I'm lost.
La escuela
Es
es
divertida.
de flita.
Divertida.
Di
Divertida.
fer di da.
Sí.
Sí.
Yeah. Bueno. Yes.
School is fun.
La escuela es divertida.
Escuela.
You got this, Roger.
Escuela
Es
es
divertida.
difer
Yeah, yeah.
difer di
Da.
da.
Sí.
You learned it here first, folks.
Got the
School
help.
is fun.
Yes.
That's awesome.
No.
You're not gonna try it,
No.
You got this. I believe in you. Come on.
man. College Wesleyan Church is helping us put on this banquet. They're the ones behind the scenes, and we have a big ministry partner in Mexico. And sometime I'd like to go, but might need a little more training before I go, Mike.
Yeah, you probably do. Yes.
Would you go with me as my
Of
translator?
course I would.
Okay.
I would try my best.
You wouldn't leave me in the dust, would you?
Depends.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite Hispanic dish?
For me personally, it's conchas. It's a type of pan dulce. It's like it looks like a conch shell basically. It's very sweet, and you get them a lot at bakeries down in Mexico. Yeah,
Is it considered a bakery, like a bakery item?
yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I was gonna say arroz con pollo was my favorite.
of course. Yes.
Yeah. Marion has lots of Mexican restaurants to pick from.
Yes.
Do you have one? I know you're a diehard, like it's got to be authentic. So where's your go-to?
I gotta shout out to Taco Bell. Yeah.
That's not what I was thinking, Mike.
Yeah.
Like Casa Brava. I mean, you've gone there before. Oh, the Mi Pueblo in Wabash.
Yeah.
That was pretty good too.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. We love all our Mexican restaurants here. Los Amores. They're all fantastic. Sometimes we go out to the barber shop in Wabash.
Like one time.
I took Mike one time, talked to him to get his haircut, and we stopped at a Mexican restaurant afterwards and had a great time. So shout out to the Center Court Barber Shop. Have you been there? You've been there.
No.
You have not been there.
No. I'm Fresh Cuts.
Fresh
Forever.
Cuts with
Yeah.
Caleb. Yep, Caleb's a good dude. He gets it going there too. Yeah, that's a good place to fresh stuff. Well, Mike, I appreciate you helping us out. We're going to talk to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Thanks, brother.
See ya.
La escuela es divertida. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Again, welcome to our banquet for Kinwell Academy. I'm Roger, director at Kinwell, and this is Devin. We're going to be talking to Devin a little bit later. He graduated with us in 2017, so we're going to catch up with him. We're going to have some other interviews with Michael and another student, Emma, with some teachers, so you'll get to know them a lot. First, we want to thank our sponsors. We've had some people who helped us out making this thing possible. Jim Gartland and Atlas Foundry has been a huge supporter of Kinwell. He's helped sponsor this banquet, and he's been just a tremendous asset for our community and for myself personally. He's come to me with a lot of guidance and wisdom that I really appreciate, and so we're extremely grateful for the Atlas Foundry. Ryan Jones and Edward Jones, right here across from J&L. Again, he's been a huge supporter of Kinwell. He's even gone on trips with us before, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But big shout out to Edward Jones, and of course, College Wesleyan Church, who's been a longtime partner with Kinwell Academy. They're helping put this whole thing on, and they've just been such a huge blessing to our students, to our staff. We're in their building right now. We just moved here this school year. We were out there on Northwestern Avenue for 5 years, and we needed a space with a gym. And College Wesleyan came to us, said, "We'd love to have you on in our building." So we're super thankful to College Wesleyan Church for what they've done for us. Our sponsors again: Alice Foundry, Edward Jones, and College Wesleyan Church. Hey, our banquet today, we've got a couple things we want to get across. Number one, we want people to know who we are, what we're doing. So if you're tuning in and you haven't really heard much about Kinwell, maybe you saw us on social media or something, we're an alternative school who partners with public schools to help students who are kind of falling behind for a variety of reasons. The number one thing is we're an alternative to expulsion. So if a student is looking at getting expelled or dropping out of high school, they can choose to come to Kinwell instead of kind of carrying through with that plan. So we want to help the public schools and help their data, help keep people in school who wouldn't fit in a big traditional school. So we're here to help them. A lot of private schools are competing with public schools. We're here to serve them and help them however we see fit. To where even now we're getting a lot of students who are struggling with anxiety, things in the big building, just need a smaller atmosphere, need more one-on-one help. So we're here to help all those students that we can. So that's a little bit what we do. We do things very differently. You're going to find that out as you hear from students on what a school day looks like, that type of thing. So we do school very differently, and we take a lot of pride in it. We've been going this is our 6th year, so we're constantly trying to find new ways to reach students with new adversities that are coming in. Even I'm thinking Devin Hall was a 2017 grad, and thinking how different things are now from when he was a student. And obviously we had a couple years of a hiccup in how we did things. And so it's been pretty wild. So through this banquet, obviously it's a fundraiser. We're looking to raise $15,000 this year to help fund a lot of the trips that we do. We try to take students somewhere different every single Friday. It could be everything from ice skating to Kentucky, right? It's all over the place. And again, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but $15,000 would really allow us to do some special things with students for the next calendar year. And so that's our goal. Last I checked, we're about $2,800 of that $15,000 raised before we even started the banquet. And so we're well on our way. So there's a donate button in the description and the link. So click that. You can donate at any time. Also, there is a chat feature on this banquet. So if you have a question for myself, for Devin, for any of the teachers, the students, type a question in there. We got Bo over here on the computer. He'll catch it and read it off to us, and we can answer questions as we're going. So feel free to type away on that. We'd love to have this as interactive as possible, so you can feel a part of this thing and learn more about what we're doing. First, we're going to start it off with some interviews with a couple students. You've already met Michael, but you're about to meet Emma. And our two teachers, Tyler and Amanda. Tyler and Amanda have been with us he's been with us 6 years. Amanda, this is her 2nd year, and they have both been just tremendous assets to our students and friends to our students. And they've helped me grow a lot, both as a person, as a Christian. And so excited for you guys to get to meet them. So take it away, Tyler and Amanda.
Hello, I am Amanda.
I'm Tyler.
And we are joined here with Michael.
Hi.
And Emma. Hi. And these are two students that are actually in very different places at Kinwell. Michael is one of our seniors this year, where Emma, she joined us as a freshman, but she's only a sophomore. So we're excited to hear from them. We are going to start with Michael with a question. Michael, just start us off by saying, what was life like before you came to Kinwell?
I would say life before Kinwell, it was very chaotic. I would say it still is now, but it's a bit more manageable. My life was kind of all over the place, dealing with the death of my mom from her overdose, being around addicts most of my life, figuring out my sexuality and how that played a big part of just who I am as a person today, and just living with my great-grandmother today it was a lot, and it is a lot to handle, and it really showed during my first couple of years of high school. My freshman and sophomore year was pretty bad, but it didn't really start hitting until the last quarter. And that's when I first came to Kinwell back in the fourth quarter of 2021 when I was still a sophomore. And I thought, when I saw the next summer after that, I thought, maybe I don't need Kinwell anymore. So I'm going to try out the high school again. And that didn't go out well at all. I lasted a couple months there, but then I went back to Kinwell literally in November around this time. So yeah.
Awesome. And Emma,
Yes,
you came as a freshman,
I did.
so you were a little bit earlier to joining the Kinwell family. What was life like before you came to Kinwell for you?
It was really chaotic as well. I had to deal with a lot of my family members, and a lot of stuff at school went on. Teachers being unfair, students just being rude and chaotic. And I'd say overall, I really like it here at Kinwell because it's a lot better than anything really.
Yeah. And what was, for your academics, what were they like at the public school versus where you're at now with Kinwell?
They were really bad. I had all Fs and being there for at least 2 months of my freshman year, and I did no work at all. But here I've got, I think, 7 credits now, something like that.
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah,
Something like
you're
that.
doing much better.
Way
Yeah.
better. A lot better.
Cool. Mike, I'd love for you to share too, maybe even specifically this year, how has Kinwell helped you either academically or outside of school life?
How has it helped me?
Yeah.
It helped me. It's helped me this year specifically. It helped me a lot with mental health, for sure. During just my life, I always dealt with depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and just a lot of stuff. And it was during school wise, if I always had my ups and downs all the time, it was never a stable environment. But this year, it's gotten very, very bad, I would say, to the point where suicide has been on my mind most days. Even this past Saturday, the thought of just jumping off the bridge I live by was it was in my mind. I was like, I could do that, but I didn't. But it's just, sorry.
You're good.
I would say how it helped me was you guys are very, I would say, open-minded to people are struggling with mental health issues, all of you guys, and go out your way to make sure that we're okay and that we're going to be okay, and make sure that even though we might not have anyone around, we have the teachers and the school environment and all that. This past couple of weeks, I was pretty low when Roger took me out to the campus and go get to the coffee shop, and he helped me apply for my first job ever, and I started that yesterday. So,
Yes.
Yeah, so that was it. Thank you. So yeah, helped me a lot.
Yeah. Something I want to say about Mike too is I think he has done a wonderful job of embodying for us really what it means to be a family in multiple ways. And I would say one of them is your authenticity and honesty with us, because there's been both times of deep struggle where you've come to us, and also times of we see things differently. Mm-hmm. And it's that's never been we're just gonna sweep this under the rug. Mm-hmm. But we've always been able to engage with it, and then I would say come out on the other side respecting each other and loving each other more. Mm-hmm, totally. And that's something where it's wow, I've grown in that, and I hope you have too. And I don't know if Amanda could speak so as well, but that's something I want to thank you for, and also just share with everyone that Mike's awesome.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everything that there.
Yeah, I second all of that. And Emma, I'm going to ask you the next question.
Okay.
You are someone who's quickly a friend to a lot of incoming Kinwell students, which is something we care a lot about at Kinwell. So tell me what it's been like being a part of Kinwell as a family, just like what we were talking about, and what's that meant to you in your life?
It's really impacted me because a lot of my family, like, I'm not really close with them. And being here has, like, helped me, like, with a lot of stuff. Like, we've done one-on-one stuff before, and you helped me with, like, my spirituality and Christianity. And I love that because I've gotten a lot closer with God here. And it's so cool to be here because it's, like, an actual family. Like, I can talk to, like, my friends here and the teachers, and it's just, like, a really open place.
Yeah. So let's keep going with that. What does and either of you guys can speak into this, what does a typical day at Kinwell look like for you guys?
Well, I can only speak for the afternoon class, but usually we usually just come in here and we talk a bit, and then we usually go out into where I don't even know what the room is called, the couches, and we kind of just chill for like, I would say like 30 minutes. We really, not every day, but some days we're out there for a good while.
Right.
And we kind of just talk about whatever, really, whatever is on our minds. And then we kind of just come in here. We do work. Some people do the book class. We have our art guy. His name is Brendan. He's been very helpful for me for the past couple of months. But he comes in, and I do art with him sometimes. And yeah.
And what do you do most of the day?
Oh, work.
Math.
Math. That works too. Yeah, math.
Nice.
Yes.
And then Monday and Wednesday, we do gym, which is both of your guys' favorite. Oh, I hate it. And we've been doing soccer because of the World Cup. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have something we call family time.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain a little bit of what family time is?
Family time it's very hard to explain, but we go into, let's say Roger has a topic. Recently he talked about offense, and he went into this whole thing about how being offensive works, I guess, and how it's hard to explain. But a family time is a lot like that. But back in the past building, before we went to the church, there was a lot of family times about the Bible and stuff like that. But now I would say it's more of, I don't know, just kind of just random topics, I guess. But you still, I don't know what the word for it, but you still implement some Bible stuff in it too. But yeah, that's how I would describe family time. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Do you have anything to add, Emma?
Not really.
Okay.
So let's talk about where you guys want to end up after Kinwell, and how has Kinwell helped you looking forward to your future more?
Where I want to go to after is
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Oh, I have so many thoughts about this. Though my goal in general is just to get out of Marion and as a whole in the state and just in general. There's just so much trauma and just so much stuff that has just really impacted me in this town. It's just, I really just don't want anything to do with it. So honestly, I just want to go somewhere different, preferably somewhere that's more sunny. Like California or something like that.
And you specifically have started applying to colleges, right?
Yes.
Where have you applied?
I applied to Ball State. Applied to yes. Yeah. Shut up, Dress.
Sunny and Muncie.
Ball State. It's a school in Kokomo. I forgot the name.
Yeah.
I plan on applying to IWU, the campus that's literally right next to here.
Yep.
And IB Tech. Yeah.
Awesome. And Emma, I know you're only a sophomore.
Yes.
But even today in family time, you were talking about cosmetology school. So what are you starting to think about in your future as well?
Well, I know like a few years back I wanted to go into cosmetology for special effect makeup, but now I kind of want to go for like other stuff in a way, like hair stuff and like salon stuff.
That's cool. No, that's awesome. Yeah. And what is something just to end off here, what's something that each of you guys can say you've taken away from being at Kinwell? Obviously, Emma, you have a lot more time still, but I'm sure you've learned and grown in a lot of ways, and we've seen you grow in a lot of ways. And Michael, you've had 2 complete years here. So what's a way that you have, or what's a takeaway you could have from Kinwell?
I would say value the people you have around and don't take them for granted.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely, because I think a lot of times when you're going through something or just whatever, you take the people who care about you for granted, and then eventually they won't be able to help you anymore. So I think what I took away from it is just be happy for what you have.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's great.
I think what I took from Kinwell is that you don't always have to rely on other people to make you happy, but you can rely on God to make you happy.
True, yeah.
And not everybody will always be there, but He will.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Very insightful. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing. It's been such a pleasure, Emma and Michael. Bring it back over to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Michael and Emma, for sharing. You guys are great. Now I want you to get to know Devin. I'm really excited about this. Devin, I've been in this job for 11 years, and Devin's definitely the student that's been the closest with me, and one of the only time where we've actually continued to get closer after school. And so it's been quite a wild ride. It's weird that you're an adult now. You know, can't treat you like a 15-year-old kid like I could 6 years ago. But let's go back quite a ways. I mean, you started with us a long time ago. To kind of clarify something, we switched programs midway through. So when Devin started with us, we were part of another organization. And in 2017, we split off, started Kinwell, which is our own locally ran school. And so there's some kind of overlap in there. So to eliminate the confusion, we're just all calling it Kinwell. But you were a freshman. Am I remembering this right?
Yep.
And what was going on in life leading up to you kind of making the switch over to Kinwell?
Yeah, so it was a little different than the students that you have now. I wouldn't say it was chaotic, but at the same time it could be, but I would probably say it was more depressive. I always describe it as I came to you guys broken. Mm-hmm. That's what I always described it as. And break it down a little bit, single family home. And that single parent home, and that single parent wasn't always present, as you could say, mentally. Always present there physically, never, hardly ever present mentally. And a lot of adjustments were made. I got kicked out of school multiple times, so much so that I was picking up trash at Kinwell to try to stay in school. My grandfather would miss work, come out there and watch me pick up each individual trash that we could find. Wow. Just so that way I could stay in school. And that's a memory that I look at fondly, because that was kind of where I was like, I don't know what else to do. And so much so as it was so down in the dumps. My mom was like crying, praying to God one night, hey, I just need you to help my son. And that's when they heard about the school, literally the day before my school was supposed to start. So that was kind of a cool moment. But yeah, broken is how I would describe it.
Yeah. And what kind of school behaviors were kind of getting you in a spot where you were getting in trouble or those types of things? What was going on?
So I missed 106 days of school my 8th grade year.
Not great.
So definitely not present
more than
at
half.
Way more. Yeah. I was truant. I definitely got involved with a wrong crowd. Drugs were involved. A lot of different stuff, but I would say more or less just me being unreliant to go to school. It's funny, I missed 106 days of school, but I had like straight B's. Not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty intelligent. But yeah, so I would say definitely truant, so running with the wrong crowd, some drug behavior, and ultimately getting in altercations with a lot of people that I probably shouldn't have been getting altercations with.
Gotcha.
Teachers, bad kid, whatever, whatever it was. So
yeah. And what's interesting, like what I know about you and like missing tons of school, well, it's easy to say, oh, that person's just being lazy or whatever it might be, but there's a lot of trauma that was going on in your life.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of weighing you down. You mind going into that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was about 2 months old, my father had murdered my brother.
And that had left my mom in a deep depression. So that kind of rubbed off on me throughout growing up my whole life. So I think a lot of that started processing around junior high time, which is why it kind of correlated with me like trying to do sports and everything else. I loved sports, and all of a sudden it kind of just fell away from me because I didn't feel like getting up out of bed, or I didn't feel like applying myself to school or anything really. So that's why it kind of was a blessing that I found you guys, because it made me like I got the people that we went to like around that time, because I came to you 8 years ago, they would always say how athletic I was. So
Really shooting your own horn all this whole time?
Not at all. No, you guys would make fun of me on my lack of athleticism. It's because I gave up,
Yeah, that's funny. No, we had a lot of fun times. We had a basketball team that would travel around and play other schools and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun to mess around with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So on that note, like looking back, what were some of the significant moments that are standing out to you that like kind of helped shape who you're becoming?
Yeah, for sure. So the trips, which you always talk about, and that's what this is all about, right? So we went to Kentucky, we went to Tennessee. I went to Tennessee a couple times. Those were some of the coolest memories, because we really tested out like who were we becoming or why we were here. And we started to come together a lot more as of like a family, kind of like when family time, but it became like the bond that me, you, Mikey, and Kanan had was absolutely something special, even though I was out the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But so much so as in those games, you would make me go to the other team so I could get dunked on by one of our classmates.
Yes.
That was a great time. So, but yeah, so those talking like that's my first encounter with God. I would probably say would be one of those trips where a bunch of students were getting in trouble for something. I'm sure you remember and that was like a wake up call for me. Like everything in our life, we're going to go through something. God doesn't promise us that that's not going to happen. But it's all about how you react to it and how you come from, like get on the other side from it. And I think that was a valuable lesson I learned on that trip specifically. And I think me and you grew closer a lot on that trip.
Yeah.
I actually remember me calling you Dad for the first time on that trip and telling you what it all meant to me. So that was a really, really cool moment. And as well as the sporting events, those were awesome. Which that was kind of something like you could do a trip type of like that. I remember we started a yearly event on my birthday. We would always go to a Pacer game.
Yes.
And just being around in the environment with the teachers and everything else, we started developing our own rituals or our own, just what we did, or we'd order Jimmy John's on a day and play ping pong at lunch. Those are really cool memories. And those are something I take from it, just the family aspect. And I incorporate that in my family now.
Yeah. That's good. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to type on the chat. We got some questions over here. Bo, far away.
Yeah, Hope asked, does Kinwell have the resources to connect students to mental health services? Are there ways to help cover the potential cost of these services?
Great question from Hope. If you couldn't hear, the question is, does Kinwell have the means to connect students with mental health services? And if not, is there a way to kind of help cover that cost? We've gone down this road a couple of times. Devin has talked a little bit about the depression he came in with. Obviously, Michael and Emma have talked about it. It's becoming a more prominent theme with students who are enrolling, the anxiety and depression that they're struggling with. It's crazy. It's all from our like quiet, introverted students to our most extroverted, troublemaking students. They're all kind of struggling with that same anxiety. And so we have felt a huge need to get our students involved in mental health services. And so we've tried a couple different things. We partnered with an agency in town that came in and kind of led small group stuff. The agency did fantastic. Our students were kind of struggling to kind of get traction with it just because they would miss a session or they were struggling to kind of build trust to open up. And then we kind of switched to like, all right, let's see if we can get students plugged in with counseling. And we've had some success with that. There's a lot of students who have trauma from past counseling experiences. One, it could be they went through court-ordered counseling, and so they just kind of wanted to stay to themselves and not open up, and so it wasn't a good experience. Or two, they've been in trouble with getting taken from their homes because of stuff that they said in counseling. And so those two things have kind of become obstacles that we're trying to get through. So the best method that we've found is kind of reestablishing that relationship with a specific counselor. And that does cost money, and that's something that we want to help students out with. And if that's something that you want to specifically donate to, use that. There's a link in the description to donate to Kinwell. And I think there's a descriptor piece in there, and you can type in, hey, put this towards mental health or something like that. If I'm mistaken, that description isn't there, my email is also listed there. You can just send me a direct email and say, hey, I donated this much. This is my name. Could it go towards mental health and that type of thing? And I will make sure it gets to that and will be followed up with on that. That's a great question.
Question for you, this one. Jaden asked, have you applied the lessons you learned at the crossing to your new role as a dad? And if so, how, and how has it been?
Oh, what a question.
Yes, be present is the biggest role that I've kind of gathered from it. You were always present with your, anytime I needed you, anytime, still to this day, if I text you or whatever, being present. And obviously my daughter is just one. But I've definitely been able to take that and be present while I'm at home. I don't always succeed at it because obviously we work, just daily life stuff, trying to keep my mind healthy. And but being present is be there for those moments. My daughter's learning how to walk and figure, just watching her try to get up and stand on stuff and try to make her way over to me, or standing for the first time the other day and she realized and she was like, oh, and then got scared and then fell down. The biggest thing is being present that I've learned.
Oh, that's good. Sure. That's good. And it reminds me of the time we used to live in a 2-story house, and my wife and I would sleep downstairs. And we had this whole big living area upstairs. And I had Devin, and he mentioned some other friends, Mikey and Kanan. They came over, and I said, listen, guys, you guys can sleep upstairs. My wife and I are downstairs. But the floor creaks. It can be real loud. Just after midnight, just watch a movie, do whatever, but just be quiet, kind of stay on the couch where you're sleeping. Thought I made that pretty clear. My wife and I go to bed. It's 2 a.m. and it just sounds like they're playing basketball up there or something. I just go, what is going on? So he talked about how he called me dad. I felt like a dad in this moment. I go storming upstairs. What are these idiots doing up here? Not only were they not staying in their couches, they had built an entire obstacle course in the living room and were doing somersaults and flips over things, like the opposite of what I asked them to do. But what's cool about, and even talked about the trip where there was some trouble going on, some adversity, but it's in those moments where maybe it's more frustrating for me, but I look back and that was still unifying in some cool way, where it's a story we'll always tell. And the trip we went on in Tennessee, we had some pretty serious stuff going on. And looking back, it was extremely formative. And that's what I've loved about my relationship with Devin and all these students that we've had is how they shape me and they change me. And that's why I'm extremely passionate about the trips we do. You've heard about some of the bigger trips. We even do small things like laser tag or ice skating. Drez and Amanda just got back from Chicago a couple weeks ago. So we do smaller trips too, to try to get everyone involved on Fridays to obviously experience things outside of Grant County, but also to build that relationship between us and students. Because if I'm just a service provider for the students, I'm not growing in any way. But if I can build a relationship with Devin, with Mike, with Emma, and learn about their past, learn about where they're coming from and the things that have shaped them, then all of a sudden I'm kind of being shaped in my worldview and how I'm viewing things. And even my relationship with God has been changed by just conversations I've had with students. And that's been huge for me. And I really want to continue doing these trips and keep doing as many as we possibly can. And unfortunately, trips are expensive, and they're getting way more expensive with the price of everything. And so we'd love your support, love your help in raising this money. Again, we're looking for $15,000 to do all these trips that we want to do next year. The link's in the description there for that give. In the meantime, we have a short video that's some highlight pictures, only 2 minutes long, of some of the trips we've done. And it's everything, like I said, everything from laser tag to Kentucky and hiking and stuff. So enjoy this quick 2-minute video. The trips are just kind of a backbone of what we do. I want you to have comfort in knowing that anything you donate is going to go directly to the students and their experience. Everything else, our salaries, the lights, rent, all that stuff is already covered. We have kind of that separate side of our business that we build a public school for the students they send, and so that money covers all that stuff. All the things that we want to do extra with the students, the trips, the family times, all that stuff is a separate thing, and that's all got to be fundraising. So it's not possible without you. So thank you so much for joining alongside of us and we like to call it like you're joining our family when you jump in and support us. And even if you are at a spot where you can't financially donate, you've heard some stories, you understand kind of what we go through here, and so we'd love to have your prayer, your support. If you have an idea of some way that you'd like to kind of get involved in Kinwell, something you're passionate about, we'd love to talk. Go ahead and send me an email. You'll see that on the website there. When we talk about family, it kind of ties right in with our name. A lot of people don't know where the name Kinwell comes from. It's actually something we made up. It's got two parts to it. First is kin for kinship and the family part of our school. We are very passionate about getting to know our students and our students getting to know us and being vulnerable with each other in a way that we can both grow closer to something, right? So our students come to us needing a diploma, and when they come in, we see this is another relationship that we're building within our community. And so kinship is extremely important. We want to value the person next to us higher than ourselves. And teachers view that about students, and we hope students feel that way about each other and the staff as well. And so it's not this, like we're these dominating administrators over these students kind of poking them along, but rather we're coming alongside them in what they're trying to accomplish, and together we can grow. So kinship is extremely important. And so by participating in this banquet, we're inviting you into that kinship and that family part. And the other part is the well. And that comes from a story in John chapter 4 where Jesus comes across a woman at the well who's got a lot of baggage, a lot of hurt in her life. And as he interacts with her, he brings her life. In fact, he calls it living water in that story. And that's what we want to do with our students. They come to us, every one of them come with some hurt, some trauma, some baggage that they're carrying around. And I don't need to remind them of that nonsense. I don't need to kind of scare them straight, if you will, but rather I need to come alongside them and provide energy for them. And that's what we're all doing with our staff. We're trying to provide this living water for our students that can help them feel nourished, which means like this peace and this joy that they couldn't experience elsewhere. And so we want Kinwell to be that safe place for them. And all that is done through your guys' support, the community's support. And so we've been so blessed over these last 6 years to have the community alongside of us. And I've met so many great people who have gotten involved in Kinwell, both financially and with things like bringing in cookies and these types of things. And so we're extremely thankful for all that this community has done for us. And we're hoping that the community will continue to support us and help us with what we're trying to do. And the trips are something that shaped the students, yes, but they have shaped me a ton. They've helped me understand more of what's going on in our community in Marion. They've helped me understand what it's really like to be in poverty or what it's really like to be a minority. And that's something I wouldn't experience without getting to rub shoulders with these students. And so I think they're important not only for a student's success, but also for our community's success. If we want to see these students raise up and be something significant in Marion, this is what it's going to take. It's going to take a relationship. And so as you donate, know that, yeah, you're investing in a student, but you're also investing in our community and students who are going to stay a part of this and help grow what the future of Marion will be. So thank you so much for donating. Again, there's the links in the description to donate. We're looking for $15,000 if you would. This video will be shareable afterwards. Feel free to share it with some friends, share it on social media. And if you want to talk, man, I love coffee, I love food, so hit me up and we can do either one of those things at any time. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for donating, and we'll see you guys next time.